Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastian. It's good having you back with us. Progressive Liberal Party spokesman for Health, Dr. Michael Darvals, defending the PLP government's decision to award a multi-million-dollar contract to Allscripts in an effort to enhance the public healthcare system. This, as he says, the Christie administration makes no apologies for the decision. Dr. Darvals' response is to comments made by Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who claimed that the contract has not delivered on its promises and resulted in the PLP government's failure to digitize important patient records. A statement from Dr. Darvall noted that those comments are false. He added that Allscript is a reputable U.S. medical software company. He says the experts recommended them as the #1 choice, adding that in awarding the contract, the former government wanted to modernize the public healthcare system to produce a single medical record, improve supply chains, as well as improve revenue cycle management services by computerizing the administrative arms of the Princess Margaret Hospital, the Rand Memorial Hospital, and the satellite clinics. Dr. Darvall further explained in the statement that Allscripts' contract was awarded according to all due process, and there is no truth to the claim that the company got special privileges in the bidding process. Contrary to a report, he says Allscripts did not submit its bid late, and it was done in accordance with all the appropriate rules of the Public Hospital Authority Board. He further added that the public should know that the FNM under Dr. Dwayne Sands canceled the contract. The former Minister of State for Grand Bahama said if there are any problems with the system in PHA today, Dr. Sands, he says, must take full responsibility and stop blaming the PLP. As for current Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, the issue with that $18 million contract may have occurred because of the diffusion of attention in the former PLP administration.
More importantly, it is a matter of looking at a contract which was executed on behalf of the Public Hospital Authority, which cost the Bahamian public many millions of dollars and for which there is very little to show. We would have spent, I'm advised, maybe $7, perhaps even $8 million, and there's not a single line of code that has been downloaded onto a Public Hospital Authority computer. We don't have an electronic medical record, and it is quite disconcerting that many years after signing this contract that we have little to show, and we basically had to start over.
And that was Dr. Sands' response to Dr. Darvall's defense of the former Christie administration's healthcare agenda. According to Dr. Sands, an investigation has been launched into the matter.
I think you understand now how this problem may have occurred, because I don't believe that the Minister for Grand Bahama was ever the substantive Minister of Health, nor was the Minister of National Security, nor was the Prime Minister, nor were a number of other people that carried the health portfolio in the previous administration. And so the diffusion of attention probably led, in part, on hold, to this mess.
Now, despite the setback, the Ministry of Health has plans in works to digitize the healthcare system.
Santa Rosa is now helping us to move forward. We realize that we have to move forward. We have the added support of the World Health Organization in Congo. We have agreed to be a part of a test, a pilot, as it were, for small island developing states and small nations, particularly Caribbean nations, who need to catapult themselves into the realm of the electronic medical record.
Had the healthcare system been digitized, Dr. Sands says, more records could have been saved in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. Authorities are seeking ways to beef up security at Port-of-Ski Dock following the sexual assault of a female last Monday. According to reports, the female was beaten and assaulted by 2 men shortly after 1 a.m., who then threw her into the water and left the area. Well, Minister with responsibility for Port-of-Ski Dock, Renwood Wells, says discussions are underway for 24-hour security, as well as better lighting and possible CCTV surveillance.
There was a development process going on at Port-of-Ski for both lighting, for security, for new buildings. We have gone through upwards to phase 2 of that development. Phase 3 Obviously, I think a part of that was the CCTV cameras and others, and the government is still moving forward with it. We're also looking, as was said probably about a year and a half ago, as to how we can move in a public-private partnership for the complete operations of Fortescue. So that is still on the drawing board. So we're looking at all of those issues.
At last report, a 41-year-old male was in custody, assisting police with their investigations into the alleged assault. If you were to ask the opposition leader Philip Davis, the government's new electricity rate reduction bond has very little change to the former Christie government's legislation in 2015. You see, according to Mr. Davis, what his party had proposed at the time would not have cost consumers and only impact 40% of the major power users, as the rate added would only have been temporary.
The rate that was going to be added was only going to be for a period of about 18 to 19 months, when it would have been reversed, and it was only going to impact the major users. So the rate was tiered. So, for example, consumers who were using anywhere less than, well, I think they were tiered between 250 per kilowatt hour per month to 800 per kilowatt hours per month was not going to be impacted.
Now, according to Mr. Davis, the trend of the electricity bill was down when he was Minister of Public Works. He added that the savings in drop in oil prices would be shared between BPL and the Bahamian people. As a result, the opposition's now questioning why the minister's administration had to overhaul the bill, as only 4 or 5 provisions were tweaked.
Now, I don't know, nor have we been told, how or what of the revenue of BPL is going to be dedicated for the purposes of retiring the bonds. Until we know that, that's when we'll know how it's going to impact the consumers. And until we see a business plan from them, that's the only way we'll be able to assess the viability and or the burden or rewards that could come from it.
Works Minister Desmond Bannister earlier this month tabled the rate reduction bond bill in the House of Assembly. This was followed by a statement from BPL that the rate reduction bond is expected to help the power company refinance its $321 million legacy debt by raising $350 million in new funding for BPL to invest in new power generation. The statement further explained that the inflow of new money is expected to fund the installation of modern power generation that is cleaner, more efficient, reliable, and ultimately will lead to cheaper electricity costs. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.